Hello! I am reading once again because I'm blind and didn't want to put in my contacts. Welcome to the first episode of Is This Fridging? We are starting with Black Widow. Now, I've seen a lot of debate about this on the internet, specifically TikTok, since the release of Endgame, whether or not Black Widow was fridged. And I think people throw that term around a lot without understanding the requirements for what is categorized as fridging. It is not just any woman that dies. That's not how it works. The requirements are, I did write them down. I have them. I'm sorry. I know them off the top of my head. Female character has to die in order to further the plot of a male character. Female's death is normally used for shock factor or done in an overly and unnecessarily violent manner. And the death is not acknowledged or grieved in any way by the surrounding characters. Those are the three major parts about being fridged. And I think that last one is the one that causes the most discussion surrounding Black Widow's death, because Tony got a funeral and she didn't. She got a moment of acknowledgement, and that was it. And then the next movie that came out was Spider-Man, and of course he was close with Tony and not with her, so he got even more grief and acknowledgement. But we haven't seen the rest of the Avengers again. Wanda was dealing with her own grief, and it was over the loss of the love of her life. She wasn't thinking about Black Widow. Buck and Black Widow and Falcon and Black Widow, they weren't close. Like, they had the most interaction with her. But if we see the effects of Black Widow again and her being grieved, it'll be through Hawkeye, not through the other characters. And we haven't seen Hawkeye series yet. So you don't know if that's really the case, because again, this is a franchise. There are no plot holes until the storyline is closed. And if a character fits one of the three major requirements for being fridged, then she wasn't fridged. But I'll continue. Now, I'm the last person to defend Marvel or its writing of women, because I do have so many problems with the way they wrote and treated Nat's character, specifically in her introduction in Iron Man 2. It was creepy, it was gross, I hated it a lot. And then the fact that they gave us her solo movie after her death in the context of the universe is also super sexist, and we're all pretty sure that that movie only exists to introduce another character as like the next era of Black Widow. Also super gross. But it's still not fridging. The way she died was beautifully written, and it was in character, and I think people that are calling it fridging fail to realize that the writing device is called circular writing. Clint was sent to kill her because she was an assassin, and he made a different call. He saved her, giving her a second chance and allowing her to find family in the Avengers. She did the exact same thing for him. She sacrificed herself so that, and Clint saved her and gave her a chance for redemption. To her, that was her closing out her redemption arc. Wiping all the red out of her ledger, which, as we've seen, is the only thing she wanted from the beginning. And she gave that same chance to Clint. Yeah, he went off the rails, but this was a chance for him to get his family back and then redeem himself and give him a second chance. It closed out their friendship. It was in character. It was true to who she was. And it was circularly written, which, sorry, but there's no way to call that fridging. It was beautiful. It was appropriate. And no, it should not have been Clint. That would have made so much less sense, actually. Anyway, she sacrificed herself for her family, and it was a completely in character decision, and that's the biggest part that makes it not fridging. If a woman is killed off, where like she's sacrificing herself, but that's not something she would do, then it would be fridging. But that's definitely Nat's character. And she didn't, and her death didn't further the male plot line. It saved the world. Her death is the reason that all of our snapped characters came back. She played an important part in saving the universe, so again, not fridging. Look, Marvel writes its female characters horribly, including Natasha, but by no angle, by no definition, is Natasha's death fridging. And there are quite a lot that are. And that's why this is going to be a series. In fact, if you want to take the same context, if Gamora didn't come back, doesn't make her original death not fridging just because she came back. But Gamora's original death, where Thanos sacrifices her, is fridging. But Nat's was not. So, get over it. She's not coming back. And it wasn't fridging. So, be mad about real things. Because Marvel is extremely problematic in the way it treats its female characters. But it weakens the argument when you're not assessing properly. If you call every female death fridging, then it loses its power. So, read up on what fridging actually is. Go to the website Gail Simone very carefully and detail-orientedly created. And not every female death is fridging, but that's why I'm opening a forum for us to talk about it. Anyway, follow the rest of the comic book content by fighting my creator profile on Vocal Media, following me on Fangirl Productions 13 on Instagram, following the Lady Comic Book History and Heart of Film podcasts, and finding us on Facebook at Fangirl Productions or Lady Comic Book History, and following me on TikTok for nearly daily rants about literally anything at Alexandria Sams 2713. Bye, guys.